Be prepared for highly offensive language throughout, frank discussion of gender issues, adult and sexual themes. Right, so we've got Pauline. Oh, she's Mrs. Doyle. I used to love that. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. Oh, oh. I don't know what that's all about. All that fuss over nothing. It's time for Celebrity Big Brother's bit on the side. Pregnancy. Do you know what? I have got to say, very quickly, talking about men lying, that was a little bit of a lie. Do you want to see what really happened when I turned it on? Have a look. Right, let me turn it on. Oh! I nearly wet myself. It really hurt. Respect to you, ladies. All right, anyway, let's get back to tonight's episode. I got quite excited watching tonight's episode, not going to lie. Felt a bit of a flutter. I did. Felt a bit of a bit like India on Christmas Day watching Doctor Who with the Dalek. That's what I felt, that's what I felt. Although India was not impressed, what with the drag queenophobia. Can we look at the face for a minute? She did not like... Hang on a minute. Lulu, is that you? She looks like Lulu there. Coming up tonight, I'm so excited to say this. Can I get an amen? It feels so good to do that again because it means Reverend Canon Anista's back. She's going to be offering support, sympathy and succour to our beautiful bevy of housemates. And will Elstree be joining New York and Paris as one of the fashion capitals of the world? Probably not, but we're going to take a look at the style, or lack of, among this season's batch of celebrity housemates. Plus, a bit later in the show, I have got a huge exclusive for you guys. It involves the first nominations of the series. It's going to be good, but for now, a shiny new panel for... That was very decorum. Oh, yes, brilliant. We've got a shiny new panel for a brand new week. You're going to like my first guest tonight. You will. You will. You will. No, you will. You will. You will. I can't resist it. She's always on hand with a lovely cup of tea. It's Father Ted's Mrs. Doyle, Pauline McLean. My next guest is a stand-up comedian, a jazz singer, and he can act. And by my maths, that makes him a triple threat. It's Charlie Baker. Thank you. Hello. And speaking of style, hope you've all scrubbed up today. Any fashion mishap, she is going to have you. Writer, transgender campaigner and model is Paris Lee. And finally, the phrase national treasure is overused, so thankfully I don't need it here. I'm kidding. She is the queen of soaps, the star of Carry On, and a Benidorm beauty, hence the sangria. It's Sherry Easton. Right, let's get straight into it. She has dominated the series so far. Let's start with India. We know she's got a phobia of drag queens. Paris, what did you make of India's reaction tonight?
Oh, India. I understand that a lot of people don't get it, but watching it, I kind of did get it because I was on a press trip a few years ago. I'm a transgender woman, and I didn't tell any of the other journalists because it just didn't really come up. And we went to see the Thai Lady Boys, and it was essentially, you know, these transgender women dancing about on stage, and I felt so uncomfortable because I was like, guys, we were on the beach yesterday. If you wanted to see a transgender woman dancing around in a bikini, you know? And it just, I think it's because she's so early on in her transition, I think that it's really digging up a lot of stuff like, is that how they see me? Because a lot of people do think that a transgender woman is a man dressing up as a woman. So
Yeah.
I can understand why it's made her feel so uncomfortable and why it's produced this reaction in her. I get where she's coming from.
And I think that's a really valid point as well. You know, we're watching Big Brother, and I'm sure India, I can't speak for her, but I'm sure India would as well. We're treating India just like we would any other housemate, regardless of what's happened in their past, what's happened in their present. But she is very early on in her transition. Do you think that's playing quite a big... I know you can't speak for her either, but from experience, do you think that's playing quite a big deal with all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think if I'd have been in that situation myself, say early on in my transition, I think because you know we've all been there where you're in a bad place in your life and you just get the worst out of everyone. Do you know, like someone's just got to look at you the wrong way, and it just.
Well, I've got a couple here. If I'm going to be honest. Don't, because I'll go.
But then she seems to be fighting everybody, doesn't she? Everybody that goes towards her, goes to help her, goes to... I mean, I know I can't speak, because, obviously, but you know, everybody has apologised, everybody's caring. Look at Andrew. I mean, you couldn't be more sweeter than Andrew,
yes,
caring.
Look at Andrew.
But you know what I mean? He actually tried, didn't he?
Yeah.
And still she fights back. Is that going to happen all the time?
It's so painful to watch, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like, because I just think she just feels so defensive, you know? And it's like, I find it really awkward. And
She's smacking everybody back, isn't she, as a reflex action? But also you can see in her that she just expects prejudice and sees it when it's not even there. And I think, you know, even if some of the people in the house don't quite get where she is, they are treating her with great respect. And, you know, they're trying. Yeah, they're trying.
Do you know what, as well?
She needs a slap or a hug.
She needs a slap or a hug. We don't condone violence. We'll go for the hug. That's what we do. Let's go back to Andrew. Paris, I saw your eyes light up when we mentioned his name.
It's just my cup of tea, Ryan, and I've got to tell you.
Charlie, what did you make of Betty?
Betty.
Yeah.
Betty.
I mean, I've got to be fair. Betty was quite the stunner.
She was.
Absolutely.
She was. I was interested in the tape they used. You know, the tape. I mean, because I've had a similar thing this Christmas. I can't find the end either. You know, but it's... but the tape, I thought, no, she looked beautiful. She looked absolutely beautiful. I like a tall woman. So,
and you could see, you know, that was all just done in jest. But
at the same time, if India is calling it a phobia, which she was, then if someone had a phobia of snakes, for instance, and you brought a snake on, I think they'd probably sit there and cry. And so I question if it's a phobia or if it's a different...
And in fairness...
No, you wouldn't stay where you were. You'd get up and walk into the bedroom or go to bed or something. Take away from the situation, but she didn't. She sat there, she's making herself look like a victim the whole time she's in there.
Eventually, she did walk away, but what you're saying is she had a massive phobia.
No, she did, but then... I said, as soon as she went into bed, I said, mark my words, give it 20, 25 minutes, she'll be up with them again. And she got back up to have a drink with them, with the blokes, do you know what I mean, with the men. No, she's making herself look a victim the whole time.
I think one of the extraordinary things, though, about her, like, from somebody who doesn't really, you know, I've met one very beautiful transgender woman tonight, and I do have a bit of a girl crush, I won't lie. But, you know, what I
Paris,
saw...
I bet growing up you didn't think Mrs. Doll would be coming on. Come on.
I know I'm not your cup of tea, but hey, see what I did there. But do you know, when Andrew came in looking fantastic, it seemed to me because of what he was, like, you can see it's a giant cartoon woman. It is not in any way somebody who has become the woman they always needed to be
you could tell,
because of being in their body. So that's why we're confused,
Andrew
I think.
and Courtney were bonding. You know, Andrew said, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I go down the social club with Dave, with this, that. I'm not ashamed of my sexuality. I'm a heterosexual man and I'm having a laugh.
He tried to say that. He tried to say, listen, this is what it's all about. I mean, Courtney, who I think is the most beautiful beautiful woman. Again, I don't see how she could take offence at Courtney.
But do you know
maybe
what?
you should say. I mean, I
don't know if it's offence, and I think the way she's using phobia, it's not so much fear. It's when you know you've got like a really irrational but strong reaction to something, and it's so difficult to explain. But I think it's about feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, and you know, just how it makes her feel about herself as a woman. And maybe she's not completely confident and feels like she's got to fight to be accepted for who she is. And maybe after a couple of years feeling validated as a woman, but
And do
I
you know
think
what,
she's on the
Paris?
defensive.
To be perfectly honest, until she sat on this sofa, we're not going to know the
Not
answers
gonna
to
know,
these questions
no.
because you, myself, Shay,
Yeah.
no one can speak for anyone else. in
But to
that
have
house.
her go to Amanda Barry, the one person in the world who couldn't possibly be homophobic, transphobic, or anything, I mean, that was the most extraordinary thing. And I know I could see Amanda, who's my bestie, she was so upset that she thought that she'd hurt her. But Amanda hasn't got anything in her that she... And she grovelled and apologised to the point where I thought, stop it, Amanda, you don't need to do that.
Well, do you know what? Regardless of whether it's good or bad, India is giving us something to talk about.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what this show is all about. Let's actually move on from India for a moment. Let's talk about romance. And there was a little sliver of a frisson between Ashley and Genuine. I don't know if anyone... I mean... Do we want a romance in the house this year? Oh, I can see a definite no.
No, they definitely don't suit. I don't think they're ever going to get on. They're from two different spectrums, and it just should never, ever happen between them.
Yeah, who wants it to happen? Oh, you want it? Oh, she loves a bit of love. Go on.
Well, it's entertainment, and I think it's good to have a romance going because it makes things more interesting.
Oh, Paul, hang on. Paul's piping up now. Look, you've started them all off. Kel, have a look.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think Genuine would be genuinely up for it, but I don't think Ashley would.
You don't think Ashley would? Well...
He does need a 10th child, doesn't he? He's had 9. He needs a 10th child, so there you
She's
go.
talking about having children, and he's obviously very virile.
He's thinking, hello, number 10.
That's your big brother's first.
Speaking of romance, sorry, I put it on Twitter. There was definitely a spark between Anne and Andrew in last night. I don't care what anyone says. I saw it. That chemistry was electric. You know, everyone has, like, the little names for couples. Anne, Drew, it's done. It's done for us. But let's have a little reminder.
In that case, oh, how expert.
I am. Like I say, does the bottom sheets need changing? They
I
do,
think
don't
so,
they?
yes.
No. And I will tackle you to the floor.
That would be
pin
interesting.
you down.
Are you a rugger tackler?
No, I'm not a rugby tackler. But I can tackle retired ladies, I'm afraid. I'm good at it. I will tackle you to the ground. Try me once more.
You keep threatening them. Keep threatening them. Let's find out how it works one day.
She wants it! Paris, she wants it!
My heart's beating. I mean, she's a woman. She's got eyes. Who wouldn't be in love
Do you know
with
what?
her?
I made good love to her.
I'll tell you what, it's girt her loins, hasn't it?
Oh,
You can feel
she
them
was waiting for the men, weren't she?
Oh, my
It reminded me
goodness.
of. I don't know if you ever had a car that needed on a cold start on a cold morning, and you turned the key and there it was. It suddenly flickered into life. Or the pilot light coming on.
Well, do you know what? I'm definitely going to be keeping one eye on Anne for this week, put it that way. But at the end of the show, the boys are actually talking about Jess. Sherry.
Oh, I know.
Jess,
Well, look at her.
Do you think
gorgeous.
Jess would be up for a romance in the house?
Do you know, I don't know whether she's so beautiful, isn't she? I mean, she could get any boy, couldn't she? I mean, look at her.
But
She's
will
gorgeous.
she want to
I don't
get
think,
any boy?
do you know what? I don't think so. I think she's cleverer than that. I think she's a very switched-on girl.
I've got to say...
I really like her.
Let's be honest, when we look at sort of past contestants that have come from that reality background, like X on the Beach, stuff like that, you expect them, don't you? Oh,
Yeah.
they're going to have a showman, stuff like that. I don't think Jess is one of them.
No, I don't think she... I tell you the romance, what do you call it, a girl romance?
Romance.
Her and Amanda Barry. I
Yes.
thought that was the sweetest relation. And they're always holding hands.
We want more romance! That's what we want!
Let's have a romance.
I have got to say, though, in all fairness, that was a really terrible chat, and I'm actually disappointed in all of you. I'm joking, I'm lying. Men can lie. Men can lie. Going, oh, I've got news. on a hot new couple in the house, and that ain't a lie. Plus, fresh from the catwalk, I'm going to be Jimmy chewing it over the latest looks in the house. Come and get fraught with me. I'll see you straight after the break. Welcome back to Celebrity Big Brother's bit on the side. They're loud. But I've got a lovely steaming hot cup of tea for the lovely Pauline. Pauline, would you do me the honour of having one?
I'm just not in the mood.
Oh, go on.
No, I honestly.
No, go on.
No, it's really lovely, but I just don't want it.
Go on.
No.
No, go on.
No,
Go on.
I don't want it.
Go on!
Delicious.
Yeah. Now listen, no, we are blessed with the presence of an actual Vogue star today, guys. It's not Sherry. Paris is the star of this month's issue, and I must say other fashion magazines are available. So we thought we'd keep up the fashion theme and have a closer look at some of the distinctive looks of our fashion-forward stars as we go off the peg in a little number we like to call Elstree Chic.
The natural place to start in Elstree Chic is with Courtney Act and this sequin-embellished number. The nude look is not so hot this winter. Looking at the men this season, and Shane Lynch sported this beautiful three-piece tartan suit.
Good evening, good night.
The Highland look is bang on trend right now, as Andrew and John proved.
Please be kind.
Next, it's India in this stunning applique suit dress. It's a real statement piece. And here she is again, modelling the military look, ready for action. Not one to shy away from a new trend, our India's back with the incognito look. Perfect house camouflage. Big news this season, and the must-have accessory. Oversized sunglasses, indoors, during winter.
That's so cool.
Icon Anne Widdecombe has shocked a few people with her daring ensembles. Who can forget that red sweater with embroidered Scottish terrier? Woof, woof, we say. And finally on Elstree Chic, we leave you with the infamous dark salmon nightie.
It's my favourite colour, that.
Is it?
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, yay.
She showed herself to be well ahead of the international curve with the turban accessory. What an absolute triumph.
Oh, yeah.
And if you require any stockist information for any of the products that were featured in that film, please seek medical help straight away. But now it is time for tomorrow's headlines in today's news. Our top stories tonight. Andrew and Amanda are at it like rabbits. The housemates discussed last night's events. Someone's airing their dirty laundry. And Anne's ready to have some fun. First up at 12:10, House Lothario Andrew was flirting with one of the older housemates, and this time, it's not Anne Widdecombe. Sorry, Anne.
So what position are we going to put
I don't know. You can
Andrew and Amanda in today?
What? Just like that.
That's what I've named them, Andrew and Amanda. Right, so I think Amanda should be sat back, legs,
relax,
ears,
happy.
legs open,
legs open, yes.
And then I think Andrew needs to come under here,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And we need to give a bit of this, right? One leg over, one leg under, right? And the leg in the air. There we go. Now that is a position if you've ever seen one.
Darling, that is a work.
Oh no, he's fallen. See, Andrew can't keep it up. Andrew can't keep it up. Here we go, here we go. Right.
Come on, Andrew, you can do better than that.
There we go, there we go, there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got stamina, Andrew. He might not be able to keep it up, but he's got stamina.
He has got stamina, but can he keep the flirting up all series? Next up at 12:57, the housemates discussed last night's events brought on by Andrew's Betty Swallocks.
Do you know what the only thing I had, the only problem I had, wasn't the fact she said something, it wasn't because I expected it. It was the timing of it. She just came out with it. No one asked her, no one initiated
I know, she
conversation.
came down and she started
She sat there for like 30 seconds and realised no one had addressed the elephant in the room and just bang, came out with it.
I know.
It was an attention-seeking thing, and that's why I lost respect for the situation and walked out and left it. Because I was like, in this situation, I'm not going to win this. I'm not going to come off better in this situation.
I'm not entering into a debate about
No,
it because
exactly.
I think we're all different. We all have to accept each other's differences.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We're living together. We have to compromise.
Yeah, because if she's the ambassador for her cause, and rightly so,
She's not an ambassador.
No.
she's
This
not.
was an opportunity to open up the debate
Exactly,
and
but
explain.
what she should do, if she wants people who are ignorant in this world, and there's a hell of a lot of them still,
There
to
are
be
a lot.
tolerant of others, then she should also, in herself, be tolerant of others.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling this is going to rumble on, but let's move on to something more light-hearted. At 2:15, Anne was having a domestic.
Washing.
Yes.
Did you take my stuff out? And what on earth did you do with it? Because it's not in the dryer.
I think that it's still in the wash because Shane, the other Shane, tried to open it and push something and it started all over again.
Oh, no.
But
Would it have started all over? Would it just
Well, it's not
continued?
still in the wash because my towels are out.
I haven't touched them, but let me
So who
investigate
went
further.
to the
I would say
Shane L?
Shane...
He just looked. I don't think he took anything out. Have you looked in to see? I know your towel's out, but have you looked to see whether it's still in?
I mean, my washing is just nowhere.
Oh. I was in the camera runs today and I was a bit cold, so I just took a towel out of the... Sorry, Anne, it was an accident. Finally, at 3:34, Anne had a very exciting proposition for Shane J.
I'm going to ask Malika to give me a makeover.
What a great idea.
Of my hair and everything. Yeah, that's going to be something, isn't it?
Oh, that's great, Anne.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I think Shane should do the makeover.
And if at any point you want some makeup on your face, not to the degree that Andrew went, obviously. I won't make you look like a tart, but if you want to dip your toe into the cool, refreshing waters of...
I tell you what, you make Courtney look like a lady and I'll let you loose on me. You're going to make her look like a lady, not a tart.
No, yeah.
It looks like Anne's finally letting her hair down. Or maybe it'll be an updo. I can't wait to see how that goes. And that was today's news. But now it's time for the weather, where they are. Hello and welcome to the weather over the last few days. As you'll know, strong easterly winds blew 8 male celebrities into the house, and although the weather has remained generally pleasant, some heated discussion has caused erratic rises and falls in temperature. Elsewhere, housemates could hear hailstones showering down in the kitchen. Or was it the pitter-patter of Wayne's tap dancing feet? Who knows? Luckily, the sun was shining brightly in the bathroom as Andrew transformed into the dazzling Betty Swallows and set his own temperature soaring. However, over in the living room, heavy showers struck the house when India faced her phobia of drag queens. Dark clouds continued to follow her for the rest of the evening. The box office is therefore putting out a severe weather warning as over in the diary room, Malika fears that thunderstorm India may strike again. Looking ahead, the box weather vane predicts some very high pressures and volatile weather patterns as the battle between the sexes continues. And lightning could strike as the first nominations loom ever closer. But for now, that was the weather where they are. Have a great evening. Coming up after the break for the first time this series, the Reverend Canon Anne Easter is back. There she is. I'm going to do it again just because I can. Can I get an amen? Do not miss me pulling up a pew with Her Royal Holiness. And I've got that huge news. It's big. I'll see you after this. Welcome back to Celebrity Big Brother's bit on the side. We heard that India and Amanda, they discussing that they wish that their lady bits came with a map. So here at Bots, we've had a go at drawing one. But Barbara, you're going to have to help me because I ain't got any colour. So what's this bit?
Well, I haven't seen it for a long time.
No.
So I'm not sure.
No. And does that bit go? Is that?
Well, when you get older, everything goes south.
Yes.
So,
Talking about going south, is this where you bury the treasure?
Well, if you do bury any,
Yeah.
but no.
No. All right.
No.
Well, I'm really none the wiser. Enough of that. It is time for your daily prescription. It's an exclusive. Just go for the exclusive. Barbara, what are we doing?
Right, so if you had to pick Ashley, Jess, or Malika, who would you go for?
For what? What we do?
For to hook up with.
For one night or
Forever. For one night.
Well, I'll say Jess, personally.
I mean, looks-wise, Jess. For one night.
She'd be more wifey, wouldn't she? I don't know. They're all fit, man. I bang them all.
But I think for one night, I reckon Ashley, she looks like she knows how to handle herself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if she knows how to handle herself, why would you only have her for one night, though? That's what I'm saying.
Because, you'd have to recover after that. You ain't gonna put a great performance in. That's all I'm saying to you.
Don't talk for me, mate. It's
Lads. But even after that, I can feel a sense of serenity among us. That is because here to provide me and the Box congregation with some much-needed moral guidance. Raise your hands and give a big cheer for the Reverend Canon Ann Easter! Happy New Year! Oh, look at you! You look lovely.
Thank you.
How was your Christmas, New Year? All
Brilliant, lovely, busy, lovely.
And lovely to have Anne back,
Yeah.
everyone. Always in. Well,
It's
listen,
lovely
Anne,
to be back.
it's always a pleasure to have you. Let's get straight stuck in. You know, God might have created man first, but Big Brother decided it was the women's turn this year. What are you making of the Year of the Woman?
Well, I'm an ardent feminist, as you know, so I think it's brilliant. And in fact, I would have liked them to have been just women for a bit longer because I think there were some very interesting dynamics.
OK, we can't have everything, Anne. Let's be fair. You
Why
can't always have it your way.
Why not? I want it.
But you say that with Big Brother being, a fair and just God, he thought it was time to send in some men. What does the Bible teach us about the respective positions of men and women in society in general?
Well, the Bible's very much a book of its time. So some of the things it says, like women shall keep silence in the churches, which clearly is mad.
No.
Is
well,
very
you'd be out
much...
of a job for a start.
Well, exactly. So that's very much for the time. That's for then when it was. They didn't want any scandal, no mucking about. But it also says that in Christ there's neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, you're all one. So there is equality, lots of stories about Jesus relating to women in a very positive and gracious way, relating to them as equals.
We're all one on this show, let me just say that.
Clearly.
We know you're a member of the church and you've just said, you're a feminist.
Yeah.
What do you think about Anne Widdecombe's view that women shouldn't be priests?
Well, I think it's bonkers, obviously.
I thought she was going to say another word then. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I say that word too sometimes. But daft, because it's all physical. It's nothing, It's daft, because, particularly with her being an MP. And people have this idea that God things should never change, as it was in the beginning, is now, shall go on forever. But actually, the church keeps on growing and changing and getting better all the time.
Well, it does seem that not just you, but a few of the housemates actually are struggling to know how to actually react to some of the things Anne does. Let's have a little reminder.
I feel like this is torture for Anne.
There are some things that you have to get on with because we're in here.
Exactly. No, but it's like every time someone curses, they're like, sorry, Anne. Every time someone says anything, they're like, sorry, Anne, and it's like, no one, and if you're laughing, you're whatever, you're like, well, my mom's not here, and neither is my grandmother, and you're not the oldest woman in here, so you almost feel like, I'm like, are you just so uncomfortable by the stuff that we do?
So, Anne, do you feel that the housemates feel that they need to atone for their vulgar behaviour, or do you think Anne should just turn the other cheek?
Well, they seem to feel that they should atone, but I think that's daft. They should be themselves. What they're talking about is generally physical things that we all know about, that we all have in common, and she should just get over it. She'll get used to it.
In yesterday's show, actually, Anne, we saw Anne and Shane Jay, actually, discussing their very different opinions about marriage equality.
Yeah.
Let's have a little reminder of that.
Well, let's start with marriage equality.
Well, you call it marriage equality. I call it the redefinition of marriage.
Well, marriage has been redefined many times throughout history. You used to never be able to get divorced.
Marriage is a civil institution that is defined by Parliament. If people want to change that, I've got to be persuaded that it's a good idea, and I'm not.
I don't honestly think that I'll change Anne's opinion, but perhaps Anne and my conversation will be heard by some other people out there who haven't made up their mind, and maybe both of us have given them some food for thought, and they'll be able to form an opinion, or a better informed opinion, because of our conversation.
No, and I'd probably say in previous series of Celebrity Big Brother, that would have been an argument. We've not had that this time. What does the Bible teach us about living with people who have got a different opinion to us?
There'll always be people who really and truly believe the complete opposite of what we think is right. But the thing to do is to listen to them, to hear what they say, to think about it and consider it, and still, obviously, to live with them and to love them as they are. Because, you know, they can have their opinion, that's fine.
I've got to say as well, I think Shane Jay handled that very well.
Beautifully.
Very, very well.
Absolutely
But there is someone who seems to not be handling themselves as well as Shane Jay in that house. That's India. Let's have a little look why.
India, I didn't want it to upset you.
Well, it did.
Explain.
OK. Well, I am a woman. I know what you think. Not a special type of woman. A woman, OK? A man...
What is happening?
Just let me explain this, please.
He's thinking from a lad's perspective. Look, there's nothing wrong with it. Do you know what I mean? I think he thought from a lad's perspective.
These guys don't see me as a woman, though, Rachel.
Yes, they do.
Do you think I do?
In your head?
Do you think I look at you as a woman 100% of the time? It hasn't crossed my mind.
100%. Always looked at you.
Do you think that or not?
Feel it? And I always say,
okay, well, I'm telling you right now, that's how I.
Do you know what? I can't be asked.
I'm telling you that right now.
He said, I'm done. Yeah? Fuck it.
I feel like I've been...
Nah, man, fuck it.
No, on your bike.
No, it's all good. Dickhead.
Naughty words. Now listen, the Bible says a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Did I get that right?
You did.
I said it right. India certainly seems to have stirred up that house, let's be honest. Do you think she could have approached that in a better way?
Well, of course she could, but the reality is she's lived most of her life as a man, therefore expecting to have her views listened to and taken account of. Now, having the opposite, not being listened to, is part of the cost of being a woman.
OK.
And actually, she, I think, is learning what it's like not to be taken much notice of. She's got to take that in.
Sorry, look at Anne getting all Judy James on us over here. All right.
Wow.
You know what, I do have to say, though, we did see Malika. She took India aside, didn't she, yesterday?
Yeah.
She tried to give her a bit of advice. But after her behaviour in tonight's show, Malika seems to have reached the end of her tether now. This is Malika, actually. This is an exclusive clip we're going to show you now, and this is what she had to say in the diary room.
India has struck again, another evening that just could have been fun. She is finding perfect issue with things that she could have avoided herself, and I'm growing pretty tired of it. I think India's approach to things that are not comforting to her is growing very immature and self-serving. If we are not on the topic of India, she's far removed or waiting for her opportunity to speak about herself.
Now, Malika's just described India there as immature and self-serving. What does the Bible tell us about, you know, having a self-centred attitude?
The Bible very much says that we ought to consider other people before we think about ourselves. And actually, that's a very good way of losing your self-consciousness. If you're thinking about other people, asking them about themselves, asking them how they feel, you forget how concerned you are about yourself. And that's a good way to be, I think.
I think it's fair to say, Anne, as well, like, the cracks are starting to show now. You know, this was relatively quite a harmonious house, to be fair.
Yeah.
You've spoken about loving thy enemy in the past, but do the celebs need to really learn how to love thy neighbour?
Exactly, but they don't have to like them. You know, it doesn't say that. The Bible says love your neighbour as you love yourself.
Like taking the post?
taking the post, taking the parcels, all that sort of thing. Respect them, be kind and generous to them, and that's really enough. That's as much as it takes. And if you think about, like I said, think about other people before you think about yourself, the world will be a better place.
I'm so happy you're back.
Thank
I
you.
really am.
So
Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Canon and Easter. Love you. That's a nice quote. Coming up, we've got that huge exclusive nominations news, and believe me, it's a good one. And we're going to be putting the men under the microscope. I'll see you straight after this. That was lovely, Anne. Thank you. To your final here of tonight's Celebrity Big Brothers. Be on the side. I was just chatting with the audience about that story about the time me and Camilla went out in London. Oh, we had a laugh. 6 o'clock in the morning at Stringfellas we were. Me and Camilla, we're like that. It's not just you, Wayne, who's got royal connections. All right, Wayne. But, important, how would you like to be a housemate this summer in that house? Applications for the summer series of Big Brother are now open. Big Brother is looking for the best housemates from all over the country. So if you think you've got what it takes, there's a couple in here as well, make sure you go to bigbrotherauditions.com and show Big Brother why you should be in that house. Get doing it now. But we're still in Celebrity Big Brother, and it's the year of the woman. There is no escaping that. But we have unleashed the male species into the house. They've had 2 days to really settle in now. So what sort of impact and influence are the men having in there? Pauline, let me come to you first. How much do you think the dynamic's changed since these 8 guys have gone in?
Controversially, I don't think it has changed much at all.
Pauline!
Yeah. I think, you know, there are 2 reasons for it. I think if you really wanted a change in the dynamic, you'd have sent 8 more women in. Then you've got a catfight on your hands. You know, that would have been really, you know, edgy, I think. I think what happened, I think the reason it hasn't been a huge change is because when the men went in, they went in at a much lower status than the women. The women had the place sussed, they had the power, and literally were given the power by Big Brother as well. So, you know, they've had to start on a very small level. Welcome to the, welcome to a woman's world, you know, as the Reverend Dan says.
I don't think that power's going to last very long. I don't know, it's just words I'm hearing on the street, guys.
Controversial.
I agree.
Paris, who do you think out of the women have changed the most because of the men coming in, do you think?
I don't know, really. I think they're just kind of just getting on with it, aren't they? I don't really think there's a lot of flirting going on.
And Widdicombe.
There's some of the older ladies are getting their heads turned a little bit. But, I mean, obviously, India is going through something. And I don't know if that would have happened if the boys hadn't have come in. But I don't think we've seen the full impact of the boys being there. I think they're still playing nice at them, but they're playing up a bit, aren't they? In the sauna. They're starting to misbehave. And I think
there was a bit of a laddish behaviour in that sauna.
I'm not impressed with that,
I don't like that either. And I mean, I have another crush. It's several crushes, but Andrew, you know, I thought he was great until I heard the laddishness, and now I can't get off him. You know, the odd doer, you know, all that. Oh, please.
Is that boys being boys, Charlie?
No, I don't think it is. Not boys that I know. I mean, I think it goes to show there's nothing more boring than a straight white man. I think that's what this. I think that's what this programme has shown so far. Is like, I'm like, well, everyone who's a bit different and choosing to live their life the way they want to live it is like exciting and interesting. And the sort of I'll do. It's like,
hang on, it's like Dave down the social club here.
I've met Dave. He's a big guy.
Me and Dave, we're tight. We're tight. Let's talk about each of them men one by one. Let's start with Shane J, a.k.a. Courtney. What an absolute entrance. I need to say it again. Sherry,
I love Courtney.
Well, go on, go. What are you making of? What are you making of Shane?
The only thing I don't understand is the rolling of the willy. I don't get how they...
I can show you after the show if you want.
Well, I mean, that was extraordinary. I've learnt a big lesson there. I shall take that away with me. But I think, he makes a beautiful woman. And he's also gorgeous, but you know he's very...
What do you make of him as Shane?
I think he's very much... He knows exactly who he is.
He's lovely.
He is really... I mean, and he's trying to help India. And I just think he's fabulous. And
think
apparently he's got a fabulous singing voice.
He's a great singer.
Oh,
brilliant singer.
That's a wonderful singer, yeah.
Yes,
Really
I
good
just
singer.
think I just love every second of him.
Is it not unfair, though, for the rest of the housemates that they're up against two people there? Two lovely people.
It's true.
Two really nice people.
It's true. There's two people for us to talk
Did he
about
get
there.
2 votes? Does he get 2 votes? No. I'd love to be able to roll mine. It's more of a fold.
To Genuine now. He seems to have avoided that initial controversy that normally surrounds the American guy that comes in, who's a bit of a lad.
I know that.
Paris, what are you making of Genuine?
Oh, I don't know. He's all right, isn't he? But I'm just not that excited by any of the men. Well, apart from Andrew, but yeah, he's doing his thing. But I'm not quite sure about him cracking on to Ashley. Really.
You're not sure about that?
No.
What are you
he's
making
a bit
of
old
Genuine?
for her, isn't he?
Right. You like him?
I actually like him. I think he's so different from the normal Americans that we've had in the show. And I think he's warm. I think there's a lot more to see from him. And I hope he does have a little bit of a romance going on.
Oh, all right, Mike Parcell. Let's move on. Let's talk about John Barnes. I love John Barnes. He's so positive,
Charlie.
Charlie.
He's great. You know, he'll hit you and hurt you, defend or attack. There's only one way to beat them. Get round the
But
back.
Charlie,
Catch
on
him
a serious
if you
note,
can.
he's gone in really positive into that house. He seems all, smiles.
Yeah.
We've seen what this house can do to people.
Yeah.
Do you think he can keep it up?
I think he can because I think he's a genuinely nice man. And also, he's got 4 daughters, I think. I don't think he's scared of being surrounded by women. He's had a lot of different troubles in his life, so he's come through a lot. He's got a lot of empathy about him. He's a nice guy. I don't think there is anything to snap into.
Yeah, and when it
I think
all
that's just
kicks
him.
off, and it will kick off very soon, you can see it in everybody's eyes, he will be in there and he'll calm it down.
You think he'll be a
he will
peacemaker?
be the one, he'll be the
I think what we're
peacemaker.
looking at is the master plan.
The master
And
plan
the
from John
the father
Barnes.
of the house.
Let's move on to Wayne, or Lil Wayne, we're going to call him now. I don't know if you know this. He once danced with Princess Diana. Never mentioned it. He's never mentioned it, Pauline. Don't. Pauline, who do you think's going to be his Diana in the house? Who do you think he's going to really get on with and really stick with?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I'd love to see him, hanging around with Amanda, maybe, or Maggie. I think Maggie, just somehow would be such an unlikely friendship because they never have a chance to meet in real life. I'd love something like that,
I'd like that as well, Wayne and Maggie. I think I'd like that.
I like that he just had his tap shoes with him.
Oh, cool. Don't go anywhere
All
without them.
times, just like, yep, and any time you like,
Do you know what? Wayne's tap shoes to him are like me with the veneers. I take them everywhere. That's exactly what it is. And very quickly, we're going to be talking about the rest of the guys a bit later on in the week, but let's talk about Daniel. We saw Wayne nod off during his little stand-up routine, didn't we? Paris, do we think the housemates might tire a little bit of the maybe dapper side of his personality when he starts talking about things like that?
Yeah, I don't know. He's not really my cup of tea. We're not fans, are we, Paul?
No, I think he's a bit of an idiot. And
He's
his
a bit of an
filters.
idiot.
He also, he doesn't know where the line is. He knows where the line is, and he goes, right, I can go no further than that. Oh, whoops, there's the line. It's back there.
Gone behind you.
No, he's a proper lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's being sweet so far because he's going, look at me, you can love me now because I've changed. He hasn't changed.
Very quickly, and I've got to be quick, does anyone think he has changed their opinion of him so far?
Nah.
Oh.
I think he's trying hard to change, and I think he's going through a patch now where he's saying, I am different, and he's finding it very, very difficult because it's going back. Everyone's remembering him for what he was doing before.
Well, it's only been a few days, I'm sure. We'll see it all unravel in front of our eyes, But earlier on in the show, I did promise you that huge exclusive, didn't I? Well, here it is. I can reveal that the first nominations of the series will take place tomorrow. Live and face to face. Amanda, Jess, Maggie, Malika and Shane J is at risk of being nominated. Now, normally, face-to-face nominations, we chuck it out. It's not that exciting. This time, I think it's going to get good. Very quickly, we haven't got long left. Sherry, who do you think is going to be in trouble?
Well, of course, India. There is no doubt about India. I mean, and maybe a couple of, but I mean, she's the.
You
she's
think
the one,
India, Charlie?
absolutely.
I think dapper. I hope
You think Daniel? You think Daniel? Paris, what about you?
I think it's going to be India.
You do?
I wish she could fly the flag for us, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's going to come out of it very well.
No, Pauline?
I think it's dapper. You know, I think I worry for India being left in any longer than she is, because I think that woman's in trouble. You know, so for her mental state, I'd prefer her to be released. But I think it'd be dapper.
You think Daniel as well? What about you guys? India.
Definitely.
You think India? Anyone else other than anyone we've said? You think Genuine?
Yeah, just because he tried that thing with Ashley, because I think they know what they could do in that kind of showman's thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Malika. She's immune. She's immune. She's got immunity. Listen, I can't believe it. We're out of time. Give yourselves a round of applause. That is all I've got time for. I'm sorry, if I could say, I would. A massive thank you to my fantastic panel and a fantastic audience as well. Join me tomorrow just after 11. I'm going to be joined by the pricey Tom Reed Wilson. Lady Colin Campbell's going to be here. Paul Danan and the one and only Emma Willett. And we'll have all the fallout from those live face-to-face noms. Till then, night-night.